Good evening, everybody. It is me, Pastor Mike, and this is Ask Mike Anything. You can ask me anything anytime, really, but this is the time of the week that I set aside for you to type in your questions, and I try to answer them. And while I'm waiting for you to type those in and log in, I'm checking my audio here. Let's see. Check. Hello. Testing 1, 2, 3.
You can ask me.
That works. All right. So again, you can ask me anything. I have some standby questions on my cards here if things slow down. But otherwise, it's all up to you. Oh, and I have my my journal from when I was 11, which takes on all sorts of fun, since my oldest daughter is 11. So reading those things, knowing that's the age she's at now, makes that awfully fun. But go ahead in the comments section. Let me know you're here. Say hi. You can type in the comments or type in your questions, and I will answer them as best I can. Or you don't. And then I go to the cards. All right, so we'll start with a card tonight. I'll let you guys type. Would you rather be handcuffed to the most annoying person you know for 24 hours or go camping with someone who likes you but you don't like back? I'm probably going to have to go with the camping thing. Because it doesn't say that the person who likes me but I don't like back, it doesn't say that they annoy me. And being annoyed for 24 hours straight, I think would be detrimental to my health. All right. Questions. Hit me up. Let's see what you got. Let's see. All right. You guys are quiet tonight. That's okay. Next one is, what makes you feel old? Lots of things. Lots of things make me feel old, but one of the bigger ones is like new apps. It's weird, but like pre-COVID, when I was doing a bunch of stuff with Pastor Dan, we were doing a bunch of joint ministry in the community, and it seemed like about once a month we were switching platforms. We're going to do SoundCloud, and then we're going to do Anchor, and then we're going to do live stream, we're going to do Zoom, or we're going to do Discord, and we're going to do all these things. And it's just like, how do you keep up with that stuff? I'm fine. Okay, I'll go find it. But how are you keeping up enough to switch? That made me feel old, which is weird because he's older than I am. But anyway, what am I drinking tonight? Janet asks. Well, most of the time you can pretty much guarantee that's going to be bourbon. And this is simply bourbon and Coke, or Pepsi in this case. But thank you for asking, Janet. Let's see. The TV show The Bachelor is on tonight. If you were young and single, would you go on the show? The answer to that is absolutely not. There have... my head looks much bigger tonight. Thanks. I'll sit back. I've thought about, I've looked at reality shows from time to time and thought, oh, that might be fun, but it wouldn't be. It just wouldn't. Yeah. I don't need that kind of attention, which is weird saying, sitting here doing this Ask Me Anything. Hey, Dave Weber, how are you, my brother? It is good to see your typed words in your profile picture. What's one of the hardest questions you get as a pastor? It's always going to be, I think, the why when it comes to tragedy and suffering. Why does God allow it? And the reason that's tough is because so many people have a classical theism as a base for their theology. That if bad things happen, God should have stopped it, and just didn't. And it makes some cognitive dissonance for people. And that's a tough question because deconstructing classical theism for people is difficult, and it's difficult to do and replace with anything that doesn't leave you as an atheist. Yeah. So those are the hardest questions when we're talking about theology around, how does prayer work? What happens when we die? Those are all, I mean, we have some ideas. We can talk about those ideas, but those things tend not to drive at the core of people as much as suffering does. What is the greatest need for your parishes these days? For people to be smart and get the vaccine and wear their masks and help lower the spread of COVID so that we can do things in person again. I love technology. I love that we can do this. I plan to continue doing things like this after COVID, or not after, but when people are vaccinated and we can be in person again to a degree. I still plan to do these things because I think they're worthwhile. But that personal interaction, the ability to see someone face to face, shake a hand, give a hug, and not potentially be sending a deadly virus to them or someone they love. That's the greatest need for all of us right now, is to be able to see each other again safely. Financially, for churches right now, mine and a lot of others, it's a difficult time. We usually pass a plate. The people that are there, they put their money in, and it's a thing. But it's also so without that, now it becomes kind of like a telethon on Sunday. And I mentioned that this week in our offering, that it feels weird. It feels awkward. But financially, churches are hurting. People think the doors are closed, that there aren't any expenses. And that's just not true. We still have all the expenses for the buildings that we've ever had, plus staff, plus all of those things, and people that are keeping busy doing things. So finances are a big deal. Just to keep the buildings up to snuff. Sarah, you finally got to try Dom's. And what is my favorite? I like the custard Bismarck. I like the glazed chocolate. Dom's, you really can't go wrong though. And their bear claws are amazing. I'm glad you guys finally got to try that though. That's good. All right, old man. Preaching in front of a congregation gives you visible feedback. How do you know if you're still reaching people? That is a phenomenal question, and it is a difficult one. I try to gauge interaction in the comments during or after the sermon. Sometimes people will send me an email and say, "Hey, this hit with me. This meant something. This resonated." But there are times though when you don't really hear anything, and that gets really difficult. It really does. Like I have considered, I have the ability to put a laugh track in my pre-recorded stuff, and I have considered inserting laughter where like I've put in something that people should laugh at, but that doesn't that doesn't work too well, I don't think so. So yeah, the answer is, unless people tell you, you don't know. You don't know. And it's a frustrating piece of ministry right now. When Bree and I were doing Sunday service together, we had each other to react off of and key off of at the very, very least. And now you don't know unless someone says something. And that gets it messes with your head a little bit sometimes. Did I ever meet a donut I didn't like? Not really. Michaela doesn't like the French crullers or French dip ones, the ones that are really light and airy. I got her one of those one time and she turned it right down. Is Pashki a donut? I don't. In the strictest sense, like, sure, I guess. But I gotta say, I wouldn't they wouldn't be my first choice. Like if they were put out with other donuts, it wouldn't be my first choice. Super Bowl pick, Jeremy Peters. Good to see you. Not Tampa Bay. I don't know if I can handle seeing Tom Brady win another Super Bowl. I just don't. Yeah. How do you choose your hymns for Sunday? That is there are websites you can use that cross-reference with scriptures. So typically what I'll do is I'll look at the scripture for the week, and I'll look at what hymns, kind of coincide with that. If I know specifically where my message is going, I may pick hymns that support that or go within that within that range. And usually I'm trying to pick hymns that I know people will be able to sing along with. That has become less important in the pre-recorded COVID times, but how am I supposed to pronounce it? It's Puchki, right? Is it Puchki? Pachki? I don't know. Bill's hot dog stand is now open. Is the hot dog a sandwich or a taco? Listen, as far as Tom Brady goes, I know he's a great quarterback. I just don't know if I can handle seeing him start with a new team from the ground up and take him to the Super Bowl. It'll be a great feat if he does it. Bill's hot dog stand is now open. Is the hot dog a sandwich or a taco? I would go, it's a taco sandwich. All right, Punchki. There's no N in that, by the way, guys. Because it's not something that comes up a lot. It comes up maybe once a year. That's why. Any good beard grooming tips? No, I am afraid every single time that I take a clippers to my beard. I prefer it to be much longer than it is now. It is not, because I've gone to like trim stuff and then it just goes off balance and I get to this point and I'm like, all right, I'm good here. So yeah, that's yeah. Anyway, so that's my beard grooming tip. Be careful. I'm not arguing with you. It's just like, yeah. Anyway. Other questions? And I am not that far yet. Sorry. We got derailed. So I guess spoiler alert, maybe. I don't know. Dave, you are probably correct. Jeremy may have been talking to you about beard grooming tips. Yeah. So like this is like 2 days ago. So I'm just in that phase where it's got to grow out again, and I got to try and keep stuff tight. Anyway. All right. Yes, and I do need to catch up. Is Vision alive or dead in WandaVision? I don't know. I'm not. Guys, I work for a living. I can't watch everything. All right. Here's the thing. Is it doesn't spoil it for me. You can tell me the ending to anything, and I'll still be fine. I'll still enjoy it, because Yep, spoiling stuff. It doesn't bother me. Anybody else? I'm sorry. So one of the cards. Do you have any superstitions? I don't think so. We own black cats. I think, that's probably, yeah. All right. Yeah, I've broken mirrors. I own black cats. I'm not superstitious. All right. Other questions? I know Michaela is running around here. If you have a question for Michaela, I have gone under ladders, so I'm not. Not superstitious. I don't like heights, but that's not a superstition. That's just gravity. I have a laugh track going in your living room. Appreciate that. Don't spoil Soylent Green, Jeremy. When are the Q's promises going to come true? If you mean the Q from QAnon, never. If you mean the Q from Star Trek, a couple hundred years. Oh, Caleb, I love and miss you guys too. We have not even wow, it has been a long time. Even longer with the pandemic. I swear this year has added 10 to all of our lives. I think we all get to do that. We'll probably, still die at the normal time, but I think anybody who lived through 2020 and 2021 should be able to add a decade when they die. So your obituary, if you die at 96, you should be able to say you were 106. That's what I'm thinking. What kind of light am I using? That's just my natural glow, Jeremy. No, funnily enough, what I am using is an LED desk lamp that is clipped behind my monitor, and in front of it is clipped just a piece of white paper to diffuse it a bit. And then I have behind me to light the background, I have a couple of these little deals from the dollar store that just make the background less fuzzy. Star Trek versus Star Wars, and why is Star Trek always better? Dave, I'm going to disappoint you. I'm a both and guy. They both have their merits. If I was allowed to only pick one, and like I have to live with that once, I can't watch the other ever. I'm going to pick Star Trek. So yeah, but I like them both. They both hold special places in my heart. Will Michaela be playing her ukulele and singing again for us? I sure hope so. She has to practice it first for a while. She has been she gets in moods. She has currently. Hey, Michaela, are you still out there? So Grandpa Mike wants to know when you're going to be playing your ukulele and singing again for us. But you just finished a project, didn't you? You want to tell people what the project you just finished with the keyboard and the typing? No, you don't want to tell people? Why are you not saying anything? I'm not asking you to send it to them. Just tell them what you did.
I've finished writing my first chapter book, 18 chapters long, and I'm currently starting another one.
All right, so she has just finished a chapter book she's writing, 18 chapters long, and she's starting another one. What is the title of the book you just finished? Do you have a title yet?
I don't want to share.
You don't want to share the title? Why not?
No.
Is this the fan fiction one?
Yes.
With Percy Jackson?
Yes.
Oh, Percy Jackson fan fiction. Michaela is a big fan of Percy Jackson and Greek mythology. I got to tell you, it was a really weird thing this summer. We're socially distancing out in the yard. People are getting pizza, whatever. And my daughter is sitting on the hood of the car, and their kids kind of gathered around, and she's talking to them about Greek mythology and the gods and goddesses and all these things. And I'm like, dude, they know your parents are pastors, right? And you're not talking about Jesus. Okay. All right. Let's see. Do I like the Stafford trade? Good move for the Lions. I think it's a good move for Stafford. I don't know if there are good moves for the Lions, to be honest. It's just one of those things that continues to be bad. Let's see. Packers got further than the Lions. That's all I'm going to say to that, Todd. And Jeremy Peters for the win right there. Firefly is the superior space western franchise. How cool are Jeff Nelson's caricatures? Very cool. If you look at the picture of my old man there, that's one of them. My profile picture is one of them. They're very cool. I'm glad he's doing that. Oh, Anne, what's one of your memorable spots in the Holy Land and why? So, hang on. You guys can skedaddle. Thank you. So let's see. In Israel, would have to be the Western Wall. That was a very profound moment for me. That first time we were there. The being in the place and the proximity, the streets Jesus walked, that kind of thing was really, really profound, and very memorable because I had written prayers from people from my congregations on a piece of paper, and you stick it in the cracks in the wall, right? And I put it in, and I took a picture of it. And I stepped back to take a wider picture, and like this little 6-7-year-old kid runs by and grabbed my note out of the wall, and then kept running down, and he opened it up to read it, and like there was part of me that was like, oh, but then there was part of me that realizes, yeah, they got to clean those out eventually anyway. So yeah, but I'll always remember that. And then Egypt is always going to be St. Catherine, Mount Sinai, the monastery, that whole bit was just amazing for me. Yeah. When are we going to see Michaela try the Pippi Longstocking style of pigtail braid? She's done that before. I have pictures somewhere. I'll have to find them, or we'll get her to do them next week maybe. My favorite meal made by mom, whatever she's cooking, really. Probably the big comfort food one would be her homemade sloppy joe, but on top of her homemade mashed potatoes. So that's just amazing. So, yeah. Anne, I want to tell you. So for those of you that don't know, Anne is a very dear friend of mine who Bree has traveled to the Holy Land with a few times. I've traveled with a couple times together with Bree, and she knows I have been missing Egypt since we left. So I started reading a book called The Lost Pharaoh. It's a fiction book, adventure book kind of thing. But the authors, the main characters, the authors have them go to Cairo, and they have to go from the Cairo airport to a hotel. And there's this whole section on Cairo traffic, and it just made me really remember and miss Egypt a whole lot. Yeah, Cairo traffic. If you ever go to Cairo, hire a driver. Do not drive yourself. And that is the truth. I miss it, and I'm sad because our bus driver when we were there was just amazing. His name's Monty, but he has since retired from bus driving, and it makes me sad to think that the next time we go, he won't be driving the bus. But it will save me in pants, because some of you know the story. The first thing he ever said to me was, "I want your pants." And by the end of the trip, I gave him my pants. But that's that's another story for another time. All right. Any other questions? I got one more card to go. We can do that while y'all are typing. Oh, Jeremy, I love it. Are spinal manipulators in Cairo just called practors? Yes, as a matter of fact. Many decades from now, if I were offered the chance to be buried among the greats at Giza, would you? And no. I don't want to be buried in a pyramid. If I had to pick a spot on the planet, though, if I could pick a spot on the planet to spend a good chunk of what's left of my life, Egypt would be it. So, oh, you guys are interested in the Monty Pants story. All right. So I'll tell it. So when when Bree and I travel, we try and travel as lightly as possible. So we pack things that are light, that can be washed easily, that can all that stuff, dry quickly, that kind of deal. So I still have pants like this. They're Wrangler cargo pants that are flex fit, and I had a couple pair for the trip, along with a pair of jeans in case it got cold anywhere. And we get you have to walk across the border from Israel to Egypt, and then get on a different bus. And so we do that, and we get on the bus, and we're hurrying up. We're getting on the bus. The bus leaves. We drive for 3 or 4 hours. It was like 8 hours to our hotel. It was a long bus ride that first day, and so we get about 3 hours on. And the bus stops just on the side of the road where you can, look off. There's really cool desert and mountains and all sorts of, you can see Bedouin settlements and things. And we stop for people to stretch their legs. And apparently Monty needed a cigarette. So I get off the bus, and Monty is sitting on the guardrail of the road smoking a cigarette. And I'm walking, and I walk kind of up by him because I'm going to take a picture of this beautiful scenery in front of me. And I'm taking this picture, and all of a sudden I'm feeling this pulling, this tugging on my pants. And I look, and it's Monty, cigarette in hand, tugging at my pants. And I'm like, what? And he says, I want your pants. I said, that's nice, but they're mine. I'm wearing them. He's like, I want your pants. I said, no. He says, before you go, I want your pants. He just really liked the pants. And, apparently stuff like that is hard to come by. And so we move along through the tour. I plan to give him my pants, a pair of pants, after I wash them and change into different pants. And so our one of our last days there, we're having lunch at a restaurant that, like, the pyramids in Giza are right there. You can see them up. It's great. And one of the things we do on those trips, because they're big group trips, is we give gifts to our tour guide and to our bus driver and any other people that are helping facilitate the trip. And apparently Monty had asked one of the other travelers for his hat. He said, I want your hat. And so the guy got up and did this big little speech, this big speech about how Monty wanted his hat. And so here's my hat, Monty. And we have pictures of Monty with the hat on. It's great. And he sits down, everybody's clapping. I stand up and I say, this is really funny, but Monty asked me for something too. He said he wanted my pants. And so I made like I was going to unbutton them, and everybody just, busted up laughing. I actually had the pants, and I gave him the pants. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun. And Monty and I keep in touch on Facebook. I keep in touch with our guide, Assam, too. And wonderful people. And I look forward to going back. Would I want to be buried under the Ypsilanti Water Tower? No. Are pyramids landing pads for spaceships? Not currently. Why is the Ypsilanti Water Tower in that shape? Yeah. Because a lot of buildings are that shape. I don't know. Somebody was yeah. I have no idea. Yeah, Anne, you're right. That was Julius. So what else do you want to know? My favorite place in Galilee. My favorite place in Galilee would have been probably Tel Megiddo, and Cana. Nazareth was really cool too, though. Were pyramids once landing pads for spaceships? Probably not. Dave. Oh, my favorite place in England on our Wesley tour that we did was Epworth. I loved Epworth, and I loved St. Andrew's Church. The foundations of that church were like 1,100 years old. At the time, it was the oldest piece of history I had ever touched, knowingly touched. Was that church? And then of course you get to Israel, Palestine, and Egypt, and you get to things much older. But yeah, for me, part of the beauty of traveling to those places is that history, touching that history, and seeing that a lot of those places are still alive and kicking. Jericho is amazing. Yeah. Like we met people. There are retired clergy who work for EO, Education Opportunities, which is the group we travel with. But there are retired clergy who, go to Jerusalem or Galilee or Egypt and work for EO, helping troubleshoot and problem solve things. And there have been more than one occasion where Bree and I have talked about retirement and spending, time over in that part of the world for a prolonged period of time. All right. So my last card, which living person do you most admire? It's one of those things that shifts. Right now, the person I have a hard time getting out of my head when it comes to the person I have a hard time getting out of my head is Amanda Gorman, the National Youth Poet Laureate, who wrote and performed a poem for the inauguration. She is just absolutely amazing. I knew a little bit going in that she had, battled a speech impediment her whole life, and then like she did this inauguration, and it was amazing. And then she did an interview, I think it was with Anderson Cooper or somebody else, and she mentioned that her speech impediment was that she could not pronounce the letter R in words. And so if you go back and you watch her live performance at the inauguration and consider all of the R's in her poem, and think about the work it took for her to get to the point where she could do that and do it well. It's amazing. It's amazing. So right now, the person I most admire, would love to sit down and chew the fat with, and just, yeah. If there was a person whose autograph I wanted right now, Amanda Gorman would be it. All right. No new questions. We jump to the journal. Let's see. We did that one last week. All right. So this is my journal from when I was 11 years old. Today we're looking at starting November 9th, 1990. All right. November 9th, 1990, I slept over at my friend Chris McNeil's house and watched Total Recall. It is rated R. That was a big deal for me back then. Then I learned how to play piano, and it was fun because you can do that in one night. Did you know? You can learn how to play piano in just one night. I think it was probably like a chopsticks thing or something. November 10th, 1990, I stayed up till 2:30 a.m. and got to see my Aunt Michelle. She came home from college for the weekend, and I watched Turner and Hooch. It's a movie about a man named Turner and a funny dog named Hooch. My writing has improved, friends, I promise. This is November 11th, 1990, and it looks like I scratched it out. Let's see. All right. All right, I can't really make it out. All right, so November 11th, 1990, the one that's not scratched out. I went to 11 o'clock Mass by myself and stood up for the whole Mass. It was fun. My Aunt Michelle left at 4:30 and will probably be in Lansing by 2:30 her time. My math probably wasn't that good. 42. P.S. The Packers beat the Raiders 29-16 on November 11th, 1990. They would have been Oakland Raiders, LA Raiders. I'm not sure. All right, November 12th, 1990, I went to school and had fun in gym, and we played Modified Bombardment, which is dodgeball. It's a game where you throw a ball and try to hit the wall across the center line. All right. November 13th, 1990, I got my report card and had 2 C's, 1 in math, of course, and 1 in reading. Tomorrow, my dad is going to talk to my teacher because talking to my teacher will change those grades. Incorrect. November 14th, 1990, my dad went to the conference and my math and reading have to improve. P.S. I don't feel well. Let's see. I stayed home for, November 15th, 1990. I stayed home from school and slept most of the day, and my mom gave me medicine that burns bad. We call that bourbon today. P.S. I don't have school tomorrow. It wasn't bourbon. It's probably Vicks or something. That'll be it for today. Oh, Dave Weber. Did I have a bigger crush on Winnie or Topanga? I got to tell you, I was Winnie all the way, man. I didn't really get into the Boy Meets World stuff, but the Wonder Years, that was my jam. So, all right. Any other questions, folks? We've gone through 4 cards for tonight. We've done some journal stuff. You've had some great questions. We've talked about travels. I'm open to anything. You just got to type it in there. So I do want to tell you, I think it's on Thursday nights, my favorite author, fiction category, Jonathan Mayberry, he doesn't ask me anything on his Facebook page. In the last 2 weeks, I've been able to catch it. Every once in a while, I catch little snippets, but the last 2 weeks, I've been able to catch it. And he has asked a few of my questions, which is really nice. And he also he responds to me on Twitter if I direct message him, which is nice. Is a good dude. But I asked him a question for Michaela because she had just finished writing this 18 chapter fan fiction about Percy Jackson, and I said, "Do you have any tips?" And apparently he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a whole bunch of stuff on my website, free stuff for aspiring authors, fun stuff to do, good tips, tricks on getting published, all that stuff. And it's all free. So you just go check it out." And then he had some other nice things to say. And I went and checked out, and he had writing prompts. Oh, this isn't them. But I printed out the writing prompts. Maybe Michaela has it. And she got the biggest kick out of the fact. Oh, no, here it is. that the first writing prompt was this: start a story with this line. Everyone was behaving like dogs. And so she's like, why would you start a story with that? I said, well, because if a line in a story started like that, you might be interested in wanting to know what that means. Why was everybody behaving like dogs? What was this a real thing, or was this just like they were scrappy? Well, and so we have decided that we're going to have some fun, and her and I are going to we're gonna pick a less busy day, and sit down, and each of us write a short story starting with that line. And we will probably, if she's not, if she's not too shy about it, we'll probably post them and have people vote for their favorite story. So, do you prefer O'Neill with one L or two L's? I don't know if this is a Stargate reference or not, but pretty sure it's a 1L. Yeah. When does Zoom Bible Study start again? Any other programs? Zoom Bible Study starts this Thursday at 6:30. You can log in at bit.ly/Zoom Jonah. Hey, Dave, for you, it's two L's. Since I'm assuming that's a Stargate. Kurt Russell was the wrong choice. Sorry, Dad, we'll get back to that in a second. Kurt Russell was the wrong choice. Richard Dean Anderson in the SG-1 series, once you get past the first season or two and it really gets rolling, was the right choice. All right. So Zoom Bible Study starts this Thursday, February 4th at 6:30 p.m. bit.ly/Zoom Jonah should get you there. I will plaster all of the Facebook pages with both the bit.ly, the short URL, and the regular one, just in case the bit.ly doesn't work. I'm experimenting with the bit.ly. We are going to try and do a chapter a week in Jonah. I make no promises that we're not going to have to split up chapter 1, though. Chapter 1 is big. There's lots of stuff in it, and we'll see how the conversation goes. If we feel we've covered it, then we'll go to chapter 2 for next week. Any other programs and things like that? Not right now. I do want to tell folks for Lent coming up, starting the 17th of February is when Lent begins, Ash Wednesday. For Lent, I'm going to be going through Walter Brueggemann's A Way Other Than Our Own. It's a fantastic little devotional. And I want to encourage you. I picked this up secondhand. There's highlights and underlines and notes. That's kind of fun. For a couple bucks. I think it's brand new. It's 10 or 12 bucks. Used you can find for $4. I think on Kindle it's 8 or 9. But here's what I want to encourage people to do, and I'm going to tell people about it, and it's going out in the newsletter and all that stuff, is if you want to pick up a copy of this, go through it. It's 40 plus days of Lent, because I don't know if they have extra readings for Holy Week, but anyway, if you want to go through that, and then we can have conversations either on the phone, text message. We can put a Zoom together if people want to do that. But just something to talk about throughout Lent. It's Walter Brueggemann, Brueggemann, A Way Other Than Our Own. Walter Brueggemann. He phenomenal biblical scholar. Retired to Traverse City, Michigan. I have a friend who has interviewed him on I don't know what happened there, but that was weird. Anyway, Walter Brueggemann. Check it out. Do I like it when people type in all caps? No. No. I do remember though when the internet was like just first barely a thing. Like when chat rooms were just black screen and lines of text, like think MS-DOS kind of thing. It was when I would get into chat rooms the few times I did back then, I would always turn on the all caps just so I could differentiate between mine and somebody else's text, until somebody told me that meant I was yelling. But speaking of MS-DOS, so I watched, I was in the mood to watch Alien, the movie Alien with Sigourney Weaver the other day. And I watched it, and I'm looking. I'm like, this came out in 1979, and the movie itself is set in 2122, so about 100 years from now, 140 years from 79, and 140 years in the future. Their best guess at computer technology was MS-DOS, was DOS. That was their computers. And I called Michaela in, like, I'm not going to let her watch Alien because she'll never sleep again. But I showed her the initial starting of the movie where like the computer starts waking up the ship and you see all of that. And I'm like, that's what people in 1979 thought computers would be like 150 years into the future. And she laughed. Do I miss the sound of dial-up service? No, I don't. John Bradley, if you could get one dish from your childhood to feed people, what would you have and why? One dish from my childhood. Well, like, it's not like you can't make those things. I really like the like veggie pizza that would get made at get-togethers and things, like be like the crust and like a cheese kind of thing, and then veggies on top of it. That was always good. I miss that. I don't see that around nearly enough. No, I don't miss the dial-up sound. I do remember. Let's see. It would have probably been around 1996 when I was working for RW Furniture Company, and I shared a big shared office with the guy who was my immediate boss and Sean Fernstrom, and he was like the tech guy for the company, right? I remember him getting like a CD writer, and it was like it was the most amazing thing. You could burn things to a CD, and like he had all these fancy screensavers and just all sorts of stuff that was so cool back in '96, right? And I remember, like, I didn't use the internet for anything back then, but he did, and his desk was like behind me and to the left, and I would always hear that dial-up screech. I don't miss that. Miss Sean though; he's a good dude, and I'm sure he's still like with us. I just haven't seen him since like '97. All right. Any other questions? Braylee, you got any questions for Danny?
Well, maybe I'd like to hear one question, but I do have a joke.
Oh, all right. Let's have a joke.
Knock, knock.
Is this a banana joke?
Nope.
All right.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Monkey.
Monkey who?
Monkey.
Monkey who?
Monkey.
Monkey who?
Monkey.
You're a monkey. Go to bed. It's bedtime.
Are there any questions for me?
No
guys?
questions for you. No questions for Michaela.
Somebody could just read them in right now.
Oh, I had a joke this morning that I thought Michaela would laugh at.
Okay. Try me.
So a guy walks into a building and says, "I'd like a burger, fries, and a Coke." And the lady at the counter says, "Sir, this is a library." And he says, "I'd like a burger, fries, and a Coke."
Point.
Grandpa, you have any questions?
Oh, Grandpa, do you have a question for Braylee? She wants to know. Sarah Bulmer says hi to you guys.
Hi.
Actually, she says hi, girls.
Ah.
All right, folks. I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate your questions and being with us tonight. We will be back next Monday evening. So think up some good ones, and know that Bree and I are Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. live, just like this, just like you found this. We do Fun with Faith, where we talk about things, talk about scriptures, and so please join us for that, and then worship on Sunday at 11 a.m. So please join us, and love you all. Have a great night.
Bye.